Hey everybody, this is Paul doing a impromptu video here to kind of go over the market, some thoughts that I have on it, um, just different things that I'm seeing, different moves that I've made, definitely big moves that I've made. So the first thing you're going to notice is if you see the video title, you're going to see that my value in my portfolio is actually going to be down. This doesn't include my other portfolio, so it's probably going to be around 47,000, give or take a little, is whatever number I'm going to put on this video. Um, so we're what happened to like $9,000 or like $7,000. So one thing that I do that other YouTubers don't do, because what other YouTubers do is they say, don't take this as investment advice. Don't take this as investment advice. Well, they kind of leave off a part of that is basically because this portfolio applies to my situation. That's why you shouldn't take everything that I say as investment advice. I might buy something cheap, and then you might be like, yeah, it's cheap, so I'll buy it. But you came to the same conclusion I did. I might sell something, and you might be like, well, that's crazy. I wouldn't sell that. That's the difference. So the reason why I sold is there's two reasons I sold. So right now I'm seeing a very large amount of recession indicators just flashing red at the moment. So the most obvious one is we yank out Mr. Calculator here. If we yank out Mr. Calculator, we go to the 3-month, 4.214%, 3.825. Might have clicked the wrong button there. Minus 3.825. That is 38 basis points inverted. The 2-year is ridiculously inverted through the 10-year. The biggest indicator that we're getting close to, a starting to see maybe some job cuts, that type of thing, like we're very, very weak economy, the economy starting to really slow down, is when this is higher than that. That's your biggest indicator that smart money is realizing that the top in rates is there. This is as high as it's going to go on the long end of the curve. So they start pulling money out of the market and going into the 10-year to get out of the market into safety. When this reverses, that's typically your sign that you're back into an economy that's growing. But we're starting to see some different things go on. Like the dollar has stopped going up. It's kind of started to go down, actually. It's kind of hovering here a little stronger because the Federal Reserve is still talking about raising rates. Now, here's why. I'm going to show you why that's insane. They are raising rates into an extremely weakening economy. I did a video last time where I showed the lag in the rent inflation versus where the lag data versus the current data, and it's just dramatic, the drops. So there's different charts that I have here. So this is home builder buyer traffic right now. As you can see, it has fallen to the lows of 2006, 2008. As you obviously know, that was the housing crash. Then you got 2020 where people couldn't literally go outside. You have a massive crash right here. 23 million people unemployed, and we just broke below that 20 level. So this is National Association of Home Builders. They're just seeing homes just sitting there. Different forums that I'm part of, like Reddit forums, that type of thing. People are starting to notice that houses are like where are all these for sale signs coming from? As the economy crashing, what's happening is the houses are getting put up for sale, but nobody's buying them. You just never noticed it. There was always for sale signs. It's just there weren't as many. Normally, what would happen during this period here in the 2020 in that kind of area, houses would sit there for like a week, and then they would have a buyer. As you can clearly see, it has completely crashed, and it's actually going to be worse the more that the Fed raises rates. So that's one. This is the one that everybody's literally talking about today. These are called leading economic indicators. So the way that these work is it's basically a batch of like different indicators, and once you get to a certain level, that's kind of red flag central. Like red flag, you're getting a recession. As you can see, we've already topped out over 1970 here. We haven't gone nearly as high as 1974, but you can kind of see it starts to rise, and then once you get the actual recession, you get a very large spike. So here's 1980. So this isn't a tiny little thing here. So you see how they like 2016, it's the economy started to turn, but then Trump and them came in with their tax cuts, and it kind of gave the economy a little more juice, and then it started to turn. But then you had COVID come in here, and then they threw $6 trillion at the economy, and it turned around. So this is a chart here that shows how that matches up with the market. I believe this is the one I chose. Just this is just different charts that show like where the recessions occurred at, where the economic indicators at. You can pause on this if you want to look further into this chart right here. There's just layers, a bunch of different charts like recession signal, warning signals. Um, you know, with the leading indicator. So this is a really big flag. One person said on Twitter, is like at this point you basically have to believe that no charts apply anymore and no rules apply. Like no indicators apply anymore for there to not be some type of recession and consumer weakening. Um, we have one major issue is that basically consumers, regular people, have started to use credit cards at an extreme rate to deal with inflation, gas prices that keep going down, gas prices that keep going up, the inability to move from where you want to move. The inability to sell your house is very big. It literally affects me. Like if I wanted to move to a different state right now, my house would potentially sit on the market for a year unless I dramatically reduce the price. Um, Here's another major. This is just different red flags that you would just have to ignore them all to believe we're not going into a recession. Um, so as you can see, they set this level at 70%. Typically, when you hit the 70% threshold, you get a recession. So this is the percent of yield curve inversions. So what those are is the percent of this that has inverted through this top part up here, as you can kind of see. So when the 3 month is starting to get higher than the 5 year, and then also this, and then also that, and then you have the 2 year that's through this, through that, through that, through that right there. These are your really red flags that you just have to ignore history at your own peril at this point. As you can see, COVID recession at the peak, we're actually higher than we were at the COVID recession, but we haven't gotten the job losses yet. Um, and they may come. It's definitely a situation where it's going to be a slowdown. It's looking more and more like it's going to be after the holiday season, sometime in the first quarter, probably February, March, something like that, towards the end of the first quarter. I wouldn't be shocked if you see weak numbers in the first quarter, like say January, February, you start to see the job losses. Unfortunately. So how did I deal with that? So that's reason number one why I pulled a lot of money out of the market, just because I think the market has gone up quite a bit. I typically don't get greedy. I could have stayed in the market longer, and I think McDonald's is up today, so I could have caught a little bit more of a gain. Um, but where's my notification? So if I go to view all, and I did post this on Twitter, every single thing that I sold. But as you can see, these are the shares that I sold. My criteria was basically anything that was over $1,000 that I had invested in it, anything that had a price to earnings multiple over 15 was up on the chopping block. And then pretty much anything that I was up over 10% in less than a month, which is all of these different names right here. So these are the shares right here that I sold, that I targeted. As you can see, I still have large positions in other companies. I still have different positions in Caterpillar, for example. I didn't touch that. Kimberly Clark, for example, I didn't touch any of those positions. Coke, I didn't touch at all. Like large amount of my companies, I didn't touch at all. 3M, for example, I didn't touch. But if you look at it, it's an 11 PE. So Verizon didn't touch at all. You can see 8 PE. AT&T, for example, you think, well, that's a horrible company. Why 7 PE? So I didn't sell any companies that had price to earnings multiples, and I needed to free up a very specific amount. So here's the reason. So I sold those companies, and that was the reason. So the reason why was this up here, this section right here. And this is a section that no other, I know no other YouTuber shows you. This is my debt that I actually have in my real life. This is real life debt. So this is just like a different loan for like a bathroom repairs that I've done. This is just a different loan for like market money that I put into the market, and this is just a different loan. This is a credit card I think that I used to do like some dental repair work that was like emergency type stuff. So what happened was is basically the way that my bills lined up is that I was going to end up having to do this bill, and then this right here is like an interest-free type thing that's coming off pretty soon. So I got to start paying. This will start going down dramatically fast because I like paying down debt. But this will start coming down very fast. But that all starts in December. So that was my. That's why I say this portfolio applies to my specific financial situation. I could have kept that money invested, and I don't know if McDonald's would drop through whatever this low was right here, the 234 low. I don't know if it would drop through that. It could dramatically drop through that because it's at a 34 multiple right now. It could dramatically drop through that low. I can very easily see that dropping. But so that's why I sold specifically for my situation. Basically to like free up debt. I put a specific line in here to indicate that. Um, and then as you can see, even though I paid off that much debt, as you can see here, it only showed up as that much asset difference because there was just such dramatic gains in the month of October and November at the very beginning. So I think this market has run up to the level that it was going to run up to based on the third quarter earnings. I think the market has run up to the point where it's going to hit that it hit a wall at this level right here at 4,000. For it to get through 4,000, Q4 earnings, quarter four earnings need to come in stronger, and we will go through that level. This will probably end up around 4,200. It's very, very, very possible. That, but if we don't hit that, and you see weakness during the holiday season, you're going to see sell-offs like this, just very big sell-offs. Um, any company that does beat their earnings is just going to see, you know, just huge gains on that day because you're going to just see all the money shift to those companies if they report beats for quarter four, which we're currently in, which we're currently in until down here. So if the holiday season comes in really good, we can see a run up in the market. If it comes in bad, that's your first sign of a recession. Then you would start to kind of see job cuts as you go into the beginning of the year. The problem is that the Federal Reserve is still going to be hiking rates. So that's kind of our biggest issue at the moment is the Federal Reserve is very clearly intent on hiking rates, which is why even though the rest of the curve, as you can see here, this was sitting at almost 3 or 4.2, 4.3% or whatever. It's dropped back, but as you can see, this hasn't dropped back at all. And if anything, when the Federal Reserve says that they're coming out to hike another 50 basis points, this is where the market thinks they're going to stop. This puts it right around 4.5. If they come out and say we're doing more hikes in 2023 and we're going to keep going in 2023, then you can see based on my last video, we're not going to be dealing with inflation. We're going to be dealing with deflation. And that's where companies have the staff, but they don't have the profits to make up for that. There are some charts that are just dramatically just straight lines down. I didn't have a copy of the chart, but the manufacturing index out of like the different areas, like the Cleveland manufacturing index, is through the floor, dead, just completely dead. I wouldn't be shocked if you see manufacturing jobs start to get lost here pretty soon because there's just no orders. Because Walmart and Target and all them overstocked so much that they're scared to build up inventory now. So we could see, yeah, we definitely could see it. 2023 is not shaping up to be nice, and it's 100% the Fed's fault. And you can 100% blame the Federal Reserve. There is no reason for the 2-year to be this high right now. It should be probably 3.75 if you ask me. It should be much lower. And they would be able to accomplish their goal. But they're so intent on killing inflation, even if it causes a brutal recession, that they don't care. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And as you can kind of see, I'm up. Um, so this is where we're at. So pretty soon here after December, once I pay taxes and stuff like that, because you got to pay taxes at the end of the year as a homeowner, I'll start to build up a cash position right here probably. The only thing I would invest in is anything below 15 on a multiple. Um, so I could save up until I see some big market drop, but I think it's going to be like the. I think we could go back to the September lows, but we have to kind of see how earnings do. I could see earnings doing really good for Q4 because I see people shopping and stuff like that, but we have to see because you just have too many people putting. It's just the consumer's getting way too stretched right now, and the market's kind of sensing it and looking at the charts and not ignoring them. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So that's kind of why you're seeing a difference in the value. I should be able to build it up quite quickly, actually. Um, but right now it was mostly just taking profits, taking care of some debt, and just kind of going from there. So that's where we're at right now. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Would you have done that? Would you have sold if that was your situation, or what do you think? So thank you so much, and y'all have a nice day.